Aries, this is your week ahead astrology forecast. In this video, we're going to go over the major planetary aspects and transits and how they connect to and impact your natal suns between the dates of April 20th through April 26th, 2026. Aries, we're going to start really broad with the things this week that are going to impact everyone, and then we'll whittle it down to how they'll impact your natal suns, and then we'll draw special attention to the things specifically that Aries should be looking at, and then we'll get into the decans as to how all of these things are directly impacting your day, your week, because of how they are interacting with your natal sun. So if your natal sun is located somewhere between 0 and 9 degrees Aries, you are an Aries 1. If your natal sun is located somewhere between 10 and 19 degrees, you are an Aries 2. And if your natal sun is located somewhere between 20 and 29 degrees Aries, you are Aries 3. If you don't know where your natal sun is located, I can give you estimated dates that correlate to those angles or degrees within Aries. But the best way is to just grab a free natal chart online. There are so many websites that do it. All you have to do is just search a free natal chart. And then you'll need your birth date, which you already have, your birth time, and your birth location. Just put that information in. It'll spit it right out in a couple of seconds. They're really actually very easy to attain. All right, so this week, the big things. Well, let's see, April 20th, depending on where you are on this earth, we just had a double moon. So a double moon is the second new moon in the same zodiac sign. And we had 2 new moons in Aries this Aries season. So what does that mean? It means that the sun and moon were conjuncted or at the same degree of Aries with each other twice before the sun left, while the sun was in the zodiac sign of Aries. So that happened early this morning, or late on the 19th, depending on where you're located on the globe. It's simultaneously with a solar eclipse. So the solar eclipse was actually very special as well. If you were in parts of India or Australia, that area of the globe, you will have gotten the rare event of seeing one eclipse that were all eclipses in one. So it was an annular eclipse in the beginning, and then because of the Earth's rotation and the moon and the way it goes around the Earth, the moon then looked like it got bigger, so it became a total eclipse, and then it went back to an annular eclipse. An annular eclipse is when the moon doesn't fully block out the sun, so there's sort of a ring around the dark moon. Really extraordinary, and I hope that some of you caught it on film. I couldn't see it. When in the States and in Europe, you couldn't see it because it was all happening at night up here, so we wouldn't, the sun wasn't out. But boy, oh boy, you guys are lucky if you did get a chance to see it. It was a new moon that was square to Pluto and conjunct Jupiter. So it was almost like a breakout. It was almost like an explosion, like a cannonball through a brick wall to release the prisoners and release the flood. It was an I'm not going to take this, I will get my new beginning kind of insistent energy, especially in Aries. Just a really powerful energy. So that's still you could still feel it right now. And then today, early this morning, about an hour after the new moon, actually, the sun entered Taurus. So we do have a major transit with the sun entering Taurus this week on the 20th today. That's a much more stabilizing energy, a much more traditional energy, home-centered, home-based, loving of sensuality, sensual pleasures, so sensory pleasures, things that are beautiful to the eye, soft or comfortable to the touch, yummy to the tummy, delicious to the lips, those sensual, beautiful to the ears, beautiful music. All of those things are sensory, so sensual pleasures. Taurus, the sun in Taurus really loves those, but traditional, steadfast, and oftentimes stubborn, but this is the energy of sun in Taurus. A lot to enjoy, really, as we get deeper into spring. And then tomorrow we will have Mercury going retrograde. It has already gone stationary. It is it's pretty intense already because it's conjunct to Uranus. So when Mercury goes into retrograde, it is conjunct to Uranus and sextile to Mars. And Mars absolutely impacts Aries because, hello, this is your ruling dignitary. So there is definitely a sense of taking action or doing action or some sort of opportunity to take action once Mercury goes into retrograde. Because Mercury goes into retrograde conjunct Uranus, maybe there is a tech explosion. Maybe there is a breakthrough in technology, or maybe there is a disclosure about all of these things and something being revealed. Whatever it is, I don't think it will be subtle, is all I'm trying to say. So what is Mars doing? Because as Aries, always pay attention to where Mars is. Mars moves pretty quickly. I think it's about every year and a half. Mars makes a full turn and comes back to the same place. So what does that mean? It means that Mars is one of those energies that impacts us on our day-to-day. And especially it will be impacting you guys. So you should always keep a tab on, where is Mars now? Because it will sort of be what is occupying your mind. It will be your focal point for wherever Mars is. Almost be like your theme. It's kind of like the it'll be your wallpaper, the wallpaper for your computer. It'll be the theme that you're most intrigued by during that season. So right now Mars is in Cancer, so a lot to do with your family or making a home, building a home. It is moving between 13 and 16 degrees Cancer. On Wednesday, this is a day of particular interest, the moon is going to conjunct Mars in Cancer. That is a very moody, angry, and pugilistic energy. And while this is happening, it is sextile to Mercury retrograde. What does that mean? That could be a day when things really go kaplump, like when it comes to technology. So definitely be wary of that day. And FYI, if you are strongly impacted by Mars, it could also be a day that just gets really frustrating for you. I also have written down here the 21st. So today, why? I'll tell you why. Injury, a square to Chiron. Mercury all week long is going to be, Mars all week long is going to be square to Chiron as well. The 21st, when Mercury goes into retrograde, will be a tough day because Mars is sextile to Mercury, but also Mars is square to Chiron. Mars square Chiron is the energy of just feeling like you're triggered. You're triggered by feelings of inadequacy. You're spurred to action by not feeling good enough, or by what you didn't achieve, or the things that you feel like you lost or that you weren't good enough for. So this could just be an extra sensitive day. Please particularly watch the 21st and the 26th of this week, simply because they are really major triggers for Mars, which will impact you guys. And Chiron, which is actually in Aries. So understand that these are double triggers at this point. So those days in particular could be touchy and sensitive, to say the least. Let's get into the decans. So Aries 1, this is Aries who are essentially born in March. If you're a March Aries, you are an Aries 1. Not a lot happening for Aries 1. These are long-term things that are happening to you. If you are on the cusp of Aries and Pisces, you are conjunct to Neptune. You are conjunct to Neptune. Yeah, that's a very creative energy, but also very distractible, very dreamy. It just depends on how you use the energy. This is also an energy where you start to dig deeper into faith and what you believe in and your connectivity to God. So it could be a great time to start learning philosophies and different sort of faith systems, or just praying more could really help to focus you. And this is long term, but for the next couple of years, so you have time to really connect deeply and enjoy this exploration. There's also a long-term transit, which is a sextile to Pluto, especially for those of you who are at the very cusp of Aries, Aries Pisces cusp. So Sextile to Pluto means you will take action, and it will be respected, and it will get things done. And there's just no taking no for an answer, but in a way that not only doesn't offend people, helps people, or is productive. So that's actually a really, really nice ace to have in your pocket, and that's long term. But this week, since the sun is moving into Taurus, it'll kind of be in a blind spot. It'll be about 30 to 25 degrees from your natal sun this week. And that's kind of like a blind spot. So there could be some disorientation when it comes to your sense of self, like who you are. Not that you're going to just forget who you are, but something that kind of like knocks you off kilter or makes you question your existence. With that conjunction to Neptune, this is probably going to be a very kind of a philosophical conversation, soul searching, definitely a time, definitely a week to just double down on the prayer. FYI. Aries too. And Aries, this isn't the hugest week for you except for what's happening with Mars, and that will impact you. But in terms of your natal suns, Aries too, you're getting the worst. You are. So your natal suns for a long time now have been conjunct to Chiron, but now this week Chiron is square to Mars. So that means that you are, because your natal suns are conjunct to Chiron, you're going to be triggered, and especially you guys, this sense of I'm not good enough, or what I have isn't good enough, or what I can do and the actions I've taken just aren't good enough. This will be a real struggle with you internally this week that may trigger you into taking action that you're actually not ready to take. So impulsivity is most certain, and reactionary, being reactionary is two things that you're going to have to be very, or try to be very conscious of this week. Your natal suns are also sextile to Venus. So there is a sense of being very attractive, people finding you very attractive, you know, being found very beautiful, being out there and being attracted to somebody who's attracted to you, or just, you know, looking good. Or this is a great time to get a haircut. This is a great week to actually sort of pamper yourself with a day of beauty, because it will actually have a really positive impact on the way that you feel about who you are. This is also a sense of there could be a lot of opportunities or progress when it comes to your romantic situation or your financial situation, which could be more important to you guys right now. Since Venus is in Gemini, a lot of this love and support could be coming from friends, actually. So don't underestimate that. That's a beautiful thing. You're also kind of in a blind spot since Mercury retrograde now is conjunct to Uranus, kind of in your blind spot about 30 degrees away from your natal suns. There's just this sense of it could, like, there's going to be surprises and you're going to be blindsided by a lot of Mercury retrograde stuff. So this is the thing. Don't take any risks when it comes to automobiles, planes, trains, anything. There is a greater risk of injury when Chiron is square to Mars, just because you want to prove yourself a little bit too much and go a little bit too overboard. It is very imperative that you are more tranquil this week until that square to Mars lessens and passes. It will really behoove you, especially since Mercury just went into retrograde. There can be, and it's conjunct to Uranus, there could be surprise breakdowns that you don't see, that you don't foresee. And even if you're not trying to push yourself, you could have to react to them more quickly than you're ready to. So it's honestly really best to just do a whole day of beauty, whole week of beauty. Be more tranquil this week. It's important. Don't intentionally push yourself, absolutely. And then we have threes. So Aries threes. This week, your natal suns are conjunct to Jupiter, which is a really nice conjunction, except that it can make you a little arrogant. It can make you feel like you deserve more than you really do, because you're going to feel really good about yourself, and you're going to feel really, really good, like you're just going to feel really good about yourself. And it may or may not be based on reality, but it doesn't really matter, because you'll feel good, you'll feel courage, you'll feel energetic, you'll feel optimistic. It could help you, absolutely, but it could also have people like talking about you like, really? Like why did you expect that? You just got here. That kind of energy. So just an FYI, your head could get a little bit bigger than it normally is, but you definitely will have a lot of confidence to draw from. There is also 3 longer term transits. You are kind of blindsided by Neptune, since Neptune is at the very end of Pisces. You're about 35 degrees away. About 30. Some of you 25 to 30 degrees away. You are, and then there's a sextile to Saturn, which is very good. Laws, rules, regulations, authority figures, actually work opportunities, career opportunities, career growth opportunities, excellent. And then we have Pluto, a square to Pluto. The sun square Pluto is like just no nonsense. It's almost ruthless. I refuse to not. Now, like we said, there's a square to Pluto with this new moon. Hold on a second. And yes, so some of your natal suns were actually conjunct to this new moon. And that's actually pretty extraordinary for you guys. This is a time, a big breakthrough. This is an opportunity of breakthrough for you, especially if you're really close to the Taurus cusp. Huge breakthroughs. Like, don't take no for an answer, kind of I'm going to just go for it and do it. That kind of energy, like, yes, this is a new start. This is a fresh start, and you will get it, because you won't you won't let there be any other possibility. This is just a power-packed moment for you for the next couple of days, but this whole couple of years, especially till next year, while Saturn is still sextile to your natal sun, I gotta say, you could make a big impact when it comes to your career, when it comes to creating or doing something or finding who you are, discovering yourself and discovering the power inside of you and what you have to create for your life. This is a very powerful year for you. And so I think long term, there are going to be some major breakthroughs for you over the year. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen some of this already happening. Please do give this video a like if you like this information. Feel free to share it if you really love it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you know when I upload your favorite content. I do an Aries video every single week so that you can keep up with what's going on astrologically every single week. And do join me over on Born Without Boundaries Tarot for your week ahead tarot card reading. That's always a lot of fun over there on Born Without Boundaries. I hope to see you there. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye, Aries.